What's going on, guys? My name is 8-Bit Preston and welcome back to another tier list video. The last video I made was on the Pixar movies and I enjoyed making that video a lot. As of this recording, I have not even edited that video yet. I've just moved straight on to this one because it was a lot of fun and I'm thirsty to do another one, you know. It was great fun. But in today's video, we are going to be ranking all 22 MCU movies, and this is going to be very controversial because I know a lot of people love these movies and my opinions are never usually very agreeable. But enough chatter, let's get on with it. The first movie in this lineup is The Avengers, and The Avengers one, boom, absolutely. This was one of my first MCU. I didn't watch all these movies in order, I will admit. So this was probably, wait, was this my first MCU film? Yes, fucking hell. This was my first MCU movie, and I like it. I really do like The Avengers a lot. It's probably most people's favourite MCU film, if not something else. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I love it a lot. But the only problem I have with this movie is it feels like it drags. I mean, the action throughout it is great. We can see how these characters learn and the incredibly funny interactions they have between one another. But it's 2 hours long, and about an hour and a half of that is just pondering and plot devices until the last half an hour when Thanos' army invades New York, which is easily the best part of the film. But the rest of the film is really enjoyable. It is great. The rest of the film's great, but it does drag a little bit into that point. So I'm gonna have to give The Avengers an A tier. So the next movie is The Incredible Hulk. Fuck this movie. It goes straight to an E tier. Right, The Incredible Hulk is I like to call it The Incredible Disappointment. This movie was awful. I say Hulk 2003 was a lot better than this movie. I mean, that's just me personally. You can feel free to disagree with me. That's fine. But yeah, I did not like this movie. I need to yawn again. What the fuck is wrong with me? Okay. But I don't like this movie. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like this movie. I know a lot of people don't like this movie either, because it's just it's Edward Norton as the Hulk. I think it's Edward Norton, this one. I've not watched it for a long time, but it's just the Hulk on a stupid rampage with probably one of the uglier Hulk models since 2003's Hulk. And I just don't like it. Like, come on, like if Mark Ruffalo was in this movie, he could have delivered a decent performance and maybe boosted it to a D tier. But it's not. It's an E tier. The film sucks. It absolutely sucks. Captain America: The First Avenger goes to a B tier. Shoot me. Yeah, go ahead. Right. The reason I'm giving The First Avenger a B tier is because the film, again, like The Avengers, has the same problem. It ponders. It waffles. And yes, there are plot devices that are important, and I understand it needs to be done. But I mean, I can't find interest in this movie. I just can't find interest in this movie. It's just meh. I mean, the action sequences and the choreography, Chris Evans and Red Skull, it's great. I didn't expect Chris Evans to do good as Captain America coming off the set of the Fantastic Four, because he was just a fucking idiot in the Fantastic Four and I hated it. But this movie, yeah, it was a lot better, but it's not good enough in my opinion to be considered A or S tier, but it's in the top half, so it is one of the greats. Iron Man 2 goes to a D tier, and a lot of people will be surprised with that. I think a lot of people, think that I play an E tier because it is considered one of the worst, if not the worst. But nah, I don't know. It's a bad movie. Don't get it. This movie is awful compared to the original Iron Man, but it's nowhere near as bad as something else on this list, which I will put in eventually because it comes along. But considering it's a sequel to the first Iron Man, it's bad. It is a bad sequel. Because Tony's an asshole. We get more time, with all these other characters, like such as what's his name, War Machine and Black Widow. But at the same time, it was a decent introduction to those guys, I guess. But it doesn't quite cut it for me. Avengers: Infinity War, straight to an S tier. I remember being so excited for this movie when it came out. We wanted to go on the day it came out, but it got booked out instantly. So we had to wait a week to see this movie, and the day we wanted to go see it, it got booked out again. So we had to delay it for a few days, and then eventually we went. I enjoyed every moment of this movie. It was a great follow-up to Thor Ragnarok. The story continues. The action was great. Thanos was probably the best villain in the MCU. or should I say the Infinity Saga anyway, because he probably won't be around for the rest. Neither will most of these characters, which is a shame to see, but obviously we'll still have some of them. Anyways, the ending to this movie, you know, with Thanos being triumphant and all, it was definitely a very strange one to see, because you didn't expect him to win. It was a nice turnaround, nice twist. It's great. You know, I love this movie. This is probably the only MCU poster I've ever bought up until this point. You know, the Avengers Infinity War poster. It's on my wall. If you don't believe me, just grab this camera right there. I bought it literally a week after I saw the movie. I'm currently looking into getting the Endgame poster as well. I'm putting it right next to it. But Avengers Infinity War, fantastic. Loved every minute. Black Panther, A tier. A lot of people would say this is an S tier. Probably they say it's the best movie in the MCU. I disagree. I love Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. He was great. The rest of the characters, Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, Shuri, the white British guy from Nativity. He was a good laugh, I guess. It was great. I loved it. You know, that guy, I forgot the guy's name with the snake tattoos and the gun arm from Age of Ultron. He made his return in it. Well, he wasn't in it for long, but it is what it is. It's a good film. Black Panther's great. It delivered one of the more iconic phrases in the MCU, being Wakanda Forever. A lot of people around my school just run around shouting Wakanda Forever. I join in. Everyone starts shouting the Bombay. I join in. It is great. It did leave an impact on a lot of people. It was nice to see, you know, characters from another side of the world take over as the lead characters. You know, it was a risk, definitely, because you don't see it often in cinemas where you have a franchise of superheroes that are predominantly white and then you obviously have a black cast take over. It was a risk and it paid off, because it is considered the most mature and it is also considered the best film in the MCU by the critics, and I can see where they're coming from. But Black Panther for me is an A tier, because of this, like, I have the same problem with the other films. It feels like it drags a little bit, and also the final fight, it was choreography, you know, the choreography of it was pretty good, but the CGI, fucking hell. This film looks really off in some places, and it's disgusting sometimes. Like, especially when he goes into that phantom realm to see his father in panther form. It looked very, very off, and it's something you'd expect to see in the mid-2000s, you know, 2008 times. So, I was a bit disappointed there, but the rest of the movie, great, I enjoyed it. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, goes to A tier. I do like this movie. I'd consider it the best movie in the Captain America trilogy, personally. You know, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I got some good laughs out of it, and it really did show Captain America's road to redemption. You know, he became the Cap he wanted to be. You know, he had guidance from Natasha and also Fury. You know, Fury and Natasha had their own characters in this movie. You know, the movie felt like it was centered around them most of the time. And also you've got Sam, you know, Falcon. He had his own little character as well. It basically built up those old characters in this movie, and it was great. You know, the villain, you know, being Bucky because he was, you know, brainwashed. It was tough to see, I guess. But I mean, the film's great. It's a great film. It's probably one of the most serious ones, and I love it. Ant-Man and the Wasp, A tier. I would put it in S tier. I just can't watch this movie as much as I thought I could. When I went to go watch it in cinema, I absolutely adored this movie. It was so much better than the first Ant-Man. You know, with the performance of Paul Rudd especially. Jesus Christ, Paul Rudd is perfect. I love that man. Anyways, but Ant-Man and the Wasp, great. It's funny. It was amazing. I loved it. But again, it's not got rewatch value, I don't think. The film doesn't drag by any means. It's just, once you've seen it, the excitement's gone. Which is a shame. It really is a shame, because I tried to rewatch this movie, you know, the other day with a smile all the way through, but I just couldn't. There were some parts where I just thought, fucking hell, get on with it, but obviously nothing I can do about that. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, A tier. Thor Ragnarok, S tier. This is my second favourite movie in the MCU. It was my favourite, but a certain movie took over. But this movie, oh my god, this is the Thor we wanted. Thor 1 was just meh. Thor the Dark World, meh. But Thor Ragnarok, oh, this movie's godlike. The director, Taika or TT, something like that. I can't remember his name. I apologise for that. But oh my god, he is perfect. He's a master of screenwriting. I love that man so much. The comedy is great. The characters are great. Hulk's reintroduction, you know, as a more intelligent Hulk, I'd imagine, because he knows how to say modern smash now. Oh my god, it's great, and the soundtrack's great. Jeff Goldblum's in it as well, that's great. Hella the villain, oh my, she was a great villain. Everything about this movie, it shines, and it's incredible to see how they leaped to this level of quality just with a different director. It does show what the film industry can do, but why do you know? Alright, I'll swap them around. Here we go, my favourite movie in the MCU, Avengers Endgame. Might have saw it coming? Yeah, you probably did see it coming. The Avengers Endgame was a fantastic conclusion. I don't care if it was 3 hours long. I never got bored while watching this film. But seeing the movie open with Hawkeye's familia hurt, because we know what happened. All the way throughout the movie was a roller coaster of emotions. Obviously, some sacrifices were made, definitely. The intro was fucking hilarious with Thor's little callback to "I should have gone for the head," or you know what I mean. That was hilarious. Fat Thor was hilarious as well. Korg, as much as I hate the game, Korg playing Fortnite was hilarious. I found that really funny, and I expected them to do that. I actually did expect a Fortnite reference in this movie, because obviously they was pairing up with Epic Games again to do an Avengers crossover, which I actually quite enjoyed the Avengers crossover in Fortnite. I actually logged back onto the game to play it, and I enjoyed it, but Fortnite itself, no, that's for another video. But Avengers Endgame, brilliant conclusion. The final battle, it was long and it was amazing. The second the final battle started in cinema, you could just see me breathing really heavily. I was squeezing my arm. I actually left bruises because I was excited. In all theaters, you cannot shout or scream because you will get kicked out. Unlike American cinemas where they can just stand up, scream, and shout, and applaud. In our UK cinema, where I live anyway, you just have to say silent. And it doesn't help that I wasn't there for the premiere of it. I went to see it 2 weeks after it came out, which probably does play an effect on that. But I loved it. Movie was great. The ending, I cried like a bitch. This was the first MCU movie I cried to, and I hope it's the last. But the ending, oh my god, Jesus Christ, bro. The reference, I am Iron Man, I love you 3000. Oh my fucking god, dude. Tony Stark's a legend. Everyone, moment of silence, or should I say a round of applause for Tony Stark. Brilliant character, fucking fantastic. Avengers Endgame, best movie in the MCU, or in the Infinity Saga anyway. Great, loved it. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, A tier. Yeah, B tier. B tier because parts of the movie felt really just boring. The best part of the movie is easily the intro sequence with Groot dancing to Mr. Blue Sky. Absolutely love that. Mr. Blue Sky is one of my all-time favourite songs. And to see Baby Groot, do his thing while everyone fights that monster in the background. Oh, dude, that was hilarious. But the rest of the film was great. We got to see more about Nebula. You got Peter's father, Ego. It says it all. He was a god. Peter had to kill his own father. It wasn't really emotional. The ending was emotional, definitely. I didn't cry. My heart did. Like that sting thing that your heart does. It was sad. But at the same time, it was a good movie. Better than I was expecting. Thor 1 is so questionable. This movie, D tier. This movie was so questionable. Like, yeah, fair enough. I saw what it was going for. Some of the action was great, but the rest, I don't. What the fuck was this movie trying to be? I have no idea what this movie was trying to be. It didn't work with Thor. Fish out of water. Bring me another. Do you have a horse? I didn't understand it. It was weird, and I didn't like it. I'm sorry, Chris Hemsworth didn't. He didn't bring a good performance to Thor in this movie, and it was a shame. Doctor Strange, it wasn't a shame though. A tier. I was very surprised by this movie. I thought this movie was just going to be a bit of a lackluster introduction to Mr. Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch. But it wasn't. This is a great movie. It's funny. The CGI is fantastic. It, created some iconic memes. It was funny. A lot of this film, great. I enjoyed this movie a whole lot, and I'm glad it exists. Iron Man 1, definitely an S tier. The first Iron Man is arguably one of the best films in the MCU to date, and it still is. The movie's great. I don't understand how, obviously Marvel have been making movies for a long time, but the fact that they was able to nail the first MCU movie just on the spot, they just nailed it. It was amazing. I love this movie. It's funny. Tony's a great character. His development since he got out the cave and became Iron Man. Jeez, bro. Tony's a hero. I love this movie. Age of Ultron. Oh dear. C tier. Age of Ultron isn't as bad as people say it is. It's not a bad MCU movie, but it's not one of the greats. Definitely not. It's far from a good sequel to Avengers 1. The whole concept of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch being introduced, I thought was a little bit stupid, considering, you know, Quicksilver was coming straight from Days of Future Past. Scarlet Witch started with a weird accent for some reason. I have no idea why. The whole Ultron thing with Jarvis and Friday, I mean, I guess it was interesting. You know, Vision got introduced to us, that was great. But the movie was just there. The best part of the movie was probably Cap saying language. You know, Steve, he said a bad language. He said a bad language word. I love that joke that was going through the movie. It was great. Or even the end discussion. You know, what if you put the hammer in an elevator? Elevator's not worthy. That was funny. The best scene of the movie was definitely the competition to lift Thor's hammer. That was great. I loved it. But the rest of the movie, nah. Guardians 1 also gets a B tier. I mean, these two movies for me are very equal. I can enjoy Guardians 2 more than Guardians 1, but I think Guardians 1 is the better movie. It's weird to explain. I mean, we did get our first glimpses of Thanos properly in this movie, you know, with, what's his name? Rodan, I think? No, it's not Rodan, that's that Godzilla thing. Ronan. We got our first introduction to them. Yeah, it was a good movie. I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to enjoy it, but great movie. Love it. It's, you know, I do love it, even though I put it a B tier. I do love it still. It's close to my heart. This movie, however, I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. Captain America Civil War, B tier. It's too long. It fucking drags for 90% of it. The airport battle wasn't even that great. It was comedic, and I like how it gives us an introduction to Ant-Man and Spider-Man before we even got the own movies. Well, we had Ant-Man's movie, but before, you know, we got introduced to Peter Parker with Tom Holland being the new Spider-Man. Came as a surprise, but Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man there ever has been, ever will be, I hope. The whole faction between Captain America versus Iron Man was great as well. Bucky being brought back, the introduction to T'Challa early as well, that was quite cool. It was nice what this movie did, but I don't like it. I like it, but I don't. It goes on for too long, and some of the scenes just feel really boring. Captain Marvel, C tier. Oh, do I put it D tier? No, I'll be nice. C tier. Right. Captain Marvel was just, at the time, Captain Marvel was good. I mean, when I first watched it, I thought, oh yeah, this movie's fine. But looking back on it, no. Brie Larson, nope, get her out right now. Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, fuck off. They can replace her like they replaced Edward Norton. Get her out now. She's awful. She's a bitch. I don't like her. The film wasn't funny. The whole thing with the Skrulls was really weird. Captain Marvel's origin's weird on its own. The way Nick Fury lost his eye was comedic, I guess. I mean, I quite enjoyed that. The Mr. Postman song at the end, you know, it did give me a chuckle, but the rest of the film, nope. Not at all. Same goes for Ant-Man. I can't enjoy this movie. It's just not funny. Well, it's funny, but it's not enjoyable. The whole thing with Yellow Jacket, I don't like it. Ant-Man is one of those movies I can't say anything about at all, apart from Paul Rudd is a legend. That's all I can say about Ant-Man. This is my second most watched MCU movie alongside Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok probably takes it by like 2 watches. But Spider-Man Homecoming, oh my days. As the introduction Spider-Man film to the MCU, I love this movie so much. Tom Holland is great, the emotion felt through it is great. Spider-Man's learning curve is... oh, it's great. I love this movie. It's great. That's all. I can't say anything else. I'm just stumped for words on what to say. I don't know what to say about Spider-Man Homecoming other than it's fantastic and I love it. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. Do yourself a favour. Oh boy, here we go. Iron Man 3. I'm going to put you at a C tier. He was nowhere near as good as the first Iron Man, but he was certainly better than Iron Man 2. It's just another one of those meh movies that I can't say much about. But Thor the Dark World, you go straight to an E tier. What the fuck is wrong with this movie? This is the worst movie in the MCU, hands down. This movie stinks. It really reeks. Thor and Jane and Loki being a bit of a douchebag every now and then. I don't like this movie. Chris Hemsworth's performance again, so lackluster because of the scripting. Everything about this movie. No, I don't like this movie. I'm sorry. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that don't like this movie, but for me, no. Worst movie in the MCU, hands down. And that's about it, really. But anyways, aside from all that nonsense, that was my list on the MCU movies. So we did have, you know, some questionable choices, I'd imagine. You know, a lot of people do love Civil War, and a lot of people did enjoy Ant-Man 1, or a lot of people did enjoy Guardians and First Avenger, but I'm sorry, I didn't enjoy them as much as most people did. But other than that, that was my tier list on the MCU movies of the Infinity Saga. Thank you for watching this video. You know, if you enjoyed, leave a like. If you want to post your tier list or your list saying best to worst, you can do that in the comments. Feel free. I'll read it. I won't judge you. It's your opinion. I understand. Thank you for watching. I've been 8-Bit Preston, and I'll see you all in the next video. Mind Tech. Peace out.